Elon Musk, the man who never lets us down on this feature, Will, has gone and turned off the feature that allowed people to report misinformation.
So, Ian, Twitter had a specific tool which basically meant you could report electoral fake news. So if there was an election or something, you could literally flag that somebody wasn't telling the truth and it would get looked at. It's been removed. It's been removed in elections. There's some referendum going on in Australia at the moment around the rights of Indigenous people in Australia. And there's kind of a should be more happening, should there be less happening? And the amount of misinformation that's now being found around this. And essentially, there is a distinct worry now in Australia that fake news on X could influence this referendum. And I'm not getting into whether or not the Brexit vote was influenced by fake news, because that's been and gone. But there are people, independent watchers here in Australia, saying that there is a potential problem. Now, of course, Musk is going to say he's got other tools and bits and pieces that are going to help on the platform. But it is worrying if they've removed this tool. This comes the same week as the EU have said that Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it now, by far leads in the world of social media misinformation. So misinformation is clearly being spread by that platform, depending on what government or state you are.
Do you know what? Every time this gets me, Will, and I'll keep this brief because we've got a lot to get in, it gets me every single time, and that is the way that people, without any research at all, repost stuff. You know, I get stuff all the time when somebody goes, I thought you said this was rubbish, Collins, look at this. And they've enclosed a link to just another person saying the same thing. And you think that your evidence is a bloke saying it? No, it doesn't work like that. And if, you know, we can laugh about social media and say, well, don't take it seriously. But this is a new kind of, it's a marketplace, it's a debating pool, it's all of those things, and it's massive. And if social media starts to literally influence elections beyond, you know, an MP or a politician saying, you know, vote for me, then, you know, we're in strange territory. But I'm also aware of the free speech thing, Will, which I'm uncomfortable about having too many rules. But, you know, stopping somebody spreading guff is not a bad thing.
There's been a whole week of discussing what free speech is and the behaviour of people, and it just frustrates me when people think they can leap on social media and suggest that being an absolute, I was going to swear then, an absolute idiot is free speech. And I think the trouble is everybody seems to have a definition of what's acceptable.
Yeah. We've had it this week, and it is, you know, there's free speech, and then there's incitement, then there's libel, and there's slander, and there's pile, and all of those things are very different from free speech. Using the word, and I quote, and I say this in context, using the word shag in itself was never the issue in that particular point. It was much bigger and deeper than that. So saying, well, she used that word once, so therefore it's a... No, that's not the terms of the debate. That completely misses the point. Wherever you sit on the characters involved, that is not the debate. But people get very hysterical about it.
We're straying too much from where we are. This is an important point. Free speech is now this year's banter. Do you remember 5 or 6 years ago when we had the first arrests and instances around social media and trolling, and oh, it's only banter, I'm only having a joke. That's what people are now trying to use free speech.
Yes, free speech doesn't mean you can invent things. Free speech doesn't mean that you have no responsibility. In fact, it implicitly comes with responsibility as well. And it doesn't mean you can create a pylon where in some recent cases, you know, people fear for their life, or they fear for their journey home, or their bus route is mentioned, or what somebody wants to do to them sexually. All that's that's not free speech. That's being a bum. Okay,